Kill. So that's us now live, Janine, and welcome to everybody, and thanks for watching. If you are watching us live or if you're watching the recorded version, that's also just as good because you're going to get as much information out of us today as possible. So welcome to this Friendly Friday with the Marketing Lifeline, where I just like to have like-minded people who like to come and share alike. And most of us being entrepreneurs as well as helping other entrepreneurs. And today we're joined by the lovely Janine from Jelani Sales, and typically talking about something odd today, something we don't like to really talk about, called sales. I know it's a dreaded word for many of us, but Janine's going to teach us how to turn cold sales to warm. So thanks so much again for joining us today, Janine. I really appreciate the time. I know you were on something a bit earlier today, so your day's filled up and you're following on something after this. So. But yeah, I'm sure it's awesome getting your brand out there and just sharing with other entrepreneurs. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Hi, everyone.
Cool. Thanks, Janine. So let's just do a quick short intro, as it is a short one. Janine, a wife, mother to one daughter, is also the dynamic founder of Jelani Sales. Hence, I often call her Jelani, right? Just sounds like such a fun name. Your virtual sales office. Janine's qualifications and background include sales and marketing, with courses like cold calling, social media marketing, business development for startups. And she's currently focused on completing her VA, or as we call virtual assistant, mastery certification. Janine is the epitome of a fantastic virtual assistant, an excellent organizer, administrator, and salesperson. Hence, we're talking sales today. She has much to offer in the industry, and fearless of challenges, Janine is known to live her affirmations, using them to inspire and motivate her significant achievements. As a business owner, Janine has been interviewed on various radio stations and was also part of a podcast series with 𝗫𝗶𝗶𝗀, talking about sales and sharing tips for entrepreneurs and more. Sure. So not only are you busy with just interviews with your own business, but yeah, your family, a mom. I mean, what else do you have time to do anything else?
Absolutely. I always have time to do something else because I'm that one person that I can't sit still. I always have to find something to do. So yeah, even in my own home, I paint at least 3 times a month.
Oh, wow.
I know. It's crazy because the color bores me, then I change it. So yeah, I don't know.
I get that vibrancy from you. I think we have something in common there. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Janine and how Jelani Sales came about.
So I'm one of 8 children.
Wow.
And very blessed to still have all my siblings with me in my life, as well as our parents. I don't think there's a lot of people that can say that, but having my 5 brothers and 2 sisters still with us, it's really awesome. So it's really all about family. And I think that's what Jelani Sales has also taught me, in the sense of it's all about the people, how many people one can help. And, you know, that's the beauty of it. So I've got 16 going on 17 years hands-on sales experience, together with marketing experience. And I've worked with various brands along with hundreds of smaller organizations. So my experiences with sales and marketing was one of the reasons I started Jelani Sales. And Jelani Sales came about in 2019 when it was established. And I saw a gap in the market because, as you've mentioned earlier, it's not something people like to hear or do, and that's the sales and the cold calling side of it. So filling that gap and helping businesses grow by doing that, why not?
Why not? Awesome. So let's talk a little bit about that dreaded word, swear word. Maybe it's just me. Okay, let's put it out there, but I don't think I'm the only one. So sales, as I said, the dreaded word that most people claim they can't do. I think that's the biggest problem. A lot of us feel, I'm not a salesman. You know, I'm not a salesman. Although typically being an entrepreneur, we are naturally salesmen, but yes, there are obviously some techniques we need to consider. Why do you think that this is the case with sales? Why do so many people fear sales?
You know what, Megan, this question can be so dealt with in various ways. But for me personally, I honestly believe it's because of the rejection side that is part of the sales process that makes people dread sales. And quite funny, with Jelani Sales, we love rejection, which is the weirdest thing on earth. But the reason behind that is because we learn from it. Our clients learn from it, and in the sense of understanding what's the reasons people are actually saying no. And we also help our clients to adapt to those reasons to also help with the return on investment. So I do believe that it's the rejection side that is helping with that dreaded feeling of sales itself. Because sales is beautiful. Sales is so much fun if you understand and have that open mindset in terms of don't let rejection put you down.
No, that's a very good point. And I think that always said to you, if you sell something that you believe in, it's the easiest thing to sell. So rightfully so, I think entrepreneurs can sell, but I think it is that we don't want to talk about selling. We rather talk about building relationships, because the selling part, as you say, it's that rejection. And then it's self-reflection. Oh, shucks, what have I said? Is it me? Is it, and it's all that kind of criticism, which naturally humans by nature don't like. So, okay, so let's talk a little bit then about, okay, so we know rejection is a problem, and we're probably going to get to that on one of Janine's tips. So let's hold on to that for now. But can you explain, because I don't know if she mentioned it earlier, or I also mentioned it, I thought it was her tagline, but Janine says, making cold calls warm. Now, where in the days have you heard this, right? Making cold calls warm. That's why they're called cold calls, right? And I think we all avoid it for that very obvious reason. So how and why do you do this? I think it's more the how.
You know what? It is actually one of my taglines is cold calling made warm. And because most people are scared of the phone, Jelani Sales takes your database and take the clients on there, or potential clients, call those potentials and remind them of your services and educate them on the industry trends. Now, people will say, but is that really making the call warm? Absolutely, yes, because people are sitting with databases that they haven't touched for years. Why? That's a gold mine for Jelani Sales and for the client. So what we do is we simply take we make you top of mind. We're keeping you top of mind by re-engaging with that database of potentials. And number two is to show that you truly are the expert in your field. It's not really all about sales and getting that, the signature on the dotted line thing. It's educating the people and reminding them that even though 2020 happened, we are still in business. We are still here to serve you. We have brilliant products. So that is what makes the cold calling warm, is you reminding people that you're still in service, you're still going strong, you've got extra benefits and added value that you can share with them if they're interested. And that is what cold calling made warm means for us at Jelani Sales.
Okay, cool. So I like that. It's almost like it's really the objective. You've taken the sale part out of it, and you've really just said the focus is just to re-engage with this database. That's a cold database, right? Because it's just sitting on a laptop somewhere on an Excel sheet. That's cold. But how you warm it up is the objective, to just make contact and say, how are you? How's your business? This is who we are. We're still around. Let us know. It's not like, I feel so sorry for those agents that contact us daily, to sell us something. I would not want to be in their shoes, because I don't know how many people like myself reject a lot of those calls because they just phone you in the most inconvenient time, selling you another insurance package, which you've already got one. And that, to me, I understand that's possibly a fact of cold calling, but really just grabbing your database as an entrepreneur and rather just connecting with another objective in mind is really what you're kind of doing. Okay,
absolutely.
Awesome. So that is a good thing to know, guys, is that this is the opportunity for us to realize Jelani Sales making cold call warm. How? By having an intention when picking up the phone and not just saying, God, I need to close the sale. I need to get another booking on my program. And that is, I think, what puts this pressure on us as people going, I can't do this, and or have Jelani Sales do it for you is another option, right? So let's get on to the most exciting part of every week is the tips. We always rely on our experts that join us to just share some tips with us. As entrepreneurs, how can we improve perhaps the sales process, or as we like to say, closing the deal? But maybe perhaps after having this chat with you, it's not about closing the deal anymore. It's really the process. So yeah, share with us some top tips that we should be considering or looking at to help us through this.
Sure, only 3, hey?
Well, go for it, however many you have, but yeah, let's keep it short. Let's keep it simple, solopreneur, as Testo said the other day.
Absolutely. In theory, learning how to close a sale is actually pretty simple. It's show up, be prepared, give your pitch, answer your prospects' objections. That is the biggest thing, and ask for the sale. We are sometimes so scared to open our mouths to actually ask for the sale. Why? Rejection. Don't be scared of it. That is the one tip I want to give today, is don't be scared of rejection, because you will learn from it. You will be able to build that thick skin of actually being prepared for the no, so that when that yes comes,
yeah,
big bonus.
The magic.
So in practice, however, selling is obviously a bit complicated. And it's a hard fact. I mean, I've been learning this through countless hours of closing and attempting to close sales as well. And throughout my 16 years, it's a fact. So it's not easy to avoid the sales closing sins. And I can share the sins on another interview for sure, because sales becomes a game. You need to be on top of your game. Well, there's a formula behind the process of close selling, of course, and it's as much as art and scientific processes that joins.
I can imagine.
That's it. You have to be creative as a salesperson. You have to be on your toes when someone gives you a reply on something that you gave to them. Stay on top of your game. That is one amazing tip I have to give. And then, of course, there's a cold calling process. Get their attention. Have a fantastic script when you phone them. Communicate your reason. Avoid overload. Because I know some salespeople overload you with a lot of information, but avoid that. Really avoid it. Make your call relevant and identify buying triggers. I hope those are a few tips that you can take with you. One interesting thing is 92% of salespeople report giving up on prospects after hearing the word no. And it's a fact. But 80% of prospects report saying no 4 times before they finally say yes. So you don't know where that client, the potential client, is sitting by saying yes. It might be the 6th time, so you're giving up on the 5th no. And just before they say yes, you give up. So the tip is, stay top of your game and never give up. Be persistent, but don't be salesy.
Okay, well, I've tried to sum those up, but everyone else that got that, that's great. Take out the most important key points. But to sum up, most importantly, number 1, show up and be on top of your game. Number 2, rightfully so, being prepared with a script, understanding what you're going to be saying to them, and avoid overload. Big plus there, I agree. 3, ask for the sale. Don't be scared of the rejection. And lastly, be persistent. I added that as a 4th tip. So, yeah, does that sum it up, Janine? Are you happy with those?
Perfect. Well done.
So I think the main thing here that stands out again for me is, the showing up and being top of our game as entrepreneurs. I think we can be. It's just being prepared. Perhaps maybe that is something that people need a bit of focus and attention or help with that to avoid the overload, because you always want to say much more than you need to say. Asking for the sale, I think that's probably the hardest part. because of the rejection. But again, as Janine has shared, don't be scared of rejection. And if it happens, it happens, you know, as 𝗀𝗵𝗿𝗀𝗀 has said, success comes from a number of different failures. So a no or a rejection is a sense of a failure. And that's just it. We continue and we go on. And I would say, maybe they're not your right target markets. I don't know if Janine would agree with me, but who knows?
I was about to say the same thing. They might just not be your target market. So
Yeah.
go back to that as well. If the no's are continuously growing, find out if you're actually doing the right thing in terms of marketing the right people.
Yeah. And lastly, be persistent, which I think that's where you can have a Jelani Sales by your side to continually engage and be top of mind. I think that's a very big point, because we all want to buy from people, or familiarity or referrals or recommendations, and that obviously helps us by being persistent and consistent. So just to finish off, and thanks for those awesome tips. I think they will come in good hand. Is what is the most important factor to consider? And I know it's probably not an easy one to answer, but what is the most important factor to consider in the selling process or closing the deal?
Another deep question. Megan, you are throwing them out here today. You know what? Definitely do research about your prospect. Don't just phone because you've got a number. That is really important, is to have some sort of information about your prospect, who you're phoning. Find something out that you have, like a common starter conversation kind of thing. That is really, really important in a sales, in a selling process. The other thing is ensure that you speak to the decision maker. I know sometimes you have red tapes and some gatekeepers, but recognizing that it will help you with the buying window. So before you send out samples and create proposals, go visit the client. Just go for a coffee. You know, it takes time to do proposals. So you don't want to waste your time, and you don't want to waste your potential client's time. So just really be prepared when you do go through the selling process. And also, one thing is, there's obviously like buying triggers. Be upfront with your potential. And that's what I said earlier, is don't be scared to ask them if they're ready. The reason for that is it comes back to wasting time. If they say no, ask them what is the reason for them saying no. You will learn from it.
Yes.
And you know what, you can also like be a bit of blunt sometimes, but you can soften the blunt. For example, hey, just don't want to waste anybody's time, but what is your timeline? When do you think we can get this going? It's a softer approach, but yet you're going to get your answer to know where you are with that specific project. And it will help you with planning and going forward with that client. For me, that's some of the important factors when considering going through a sales process.
It's awesome. Absolutely. I hear you. Doing a bit of research, just getting to know them rather than just phoning them up, perhaps at the wrong time in the most inappropriate situation. And then they've kind of remember that person from that company, maybe with a negative mindset. So I agree with you. Go in knowing something a bit familiar, as that we say on LinkedIn, try and connect with something familiar. Same, I guess, cold calling, phoning and connecting with clients with a bit of an understanding background. And I guess from a marketing perspective, what is their need? Like, do they really need your product or service? You know, so absolutely. Awesome. Thank you so much, Janine. It's been wonderful chatting with you. And thanks so much for sharing with us today. I do think, yeah, I still, you know, to practice making cold calls warm is definitely an expertise that not everyone has. So I think you're doing an awesome job, and thanks for sharing your tips, and hopefully some of the entrepreneurs out there too can go forth and try and do something similar. If not, come and chat and get some help. And then, yeah, so next week we'll be joined by Freedom from 𝗃𝗧𝗶𝗽𝗀 group. They're going to be talking to us a little bit about some of the projects that they're working on, which was something quite interesting for us entrepreneurs, also a bunch of youngsters at work. And then, yeah, if you enjoyed the interview, give us a comment, or please go on and share it. I think it's something that everyone could relate to. And then we'll see you same time, same place next week online. Thanks, everybody. And thanks again, Janine. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Megan. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.